Hello and a very warm welcome to World This Week by Latest Laws. This is our weekly program, so subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified. My name is Monica Rahar and let's get started by having a look at Supreme Court this week.
The Apex Court has turned down activists and Unlawful Activities Prevention Act accused Sudha Bharadwaj bail petition on medical grounds, stating that the bail plea was sought only on medical ground and the same was not supported by the medical report. The Apex Court has refused to interfere with pleas seeking postponement of Bihar Assembly elections due to COVID-19. The court has sought response from the Centre and the UPSC on a plea seeking postponement of the civil services examination in view of alarming increase in COVID-19 cases and also instances of flood in the country. The matter is now listed for hearing on September 28th. The Centre has informed the Apex Court that it has found prima facie violations of program code by the Sudarshan TV's Bindas Bol show and that it has issued a notice to the channel and sought its response. The Andhra Pradesh government has moved the Supreme Court, assailing the gag order passed by the Andhra Pradesh High Court in relation to an FIR which was registered against a former Advocate General and others. Facebook Vice President has moved the Supreme Court over Delhi Assembly's summon in connection with Delhi violence case. In a very humane and progressive decision, the Supreme Court has urged the centre and the state governments to make immediate provision for financial support, supply of food and basic amenities to sex workers amid the COVID-19 crisis without insisting on identity documents such as ration cards. The government of Maharashtra has filed a plea in the Apex Court seeking vacation of its stay on the reservation to the people of Maratha community in education and jobs in the state. Now let's proceed to the next segment of our news analysis and understand important updates that have come from the Delhi High Court. The Delhi government has moved the division bench of Delhi High Court, challenging the single judge bench order which had stayed its decision relating to instructing private hospitals in Delhi to reserve 80% of ICU beds for COVID-19 patients only. The Delhi High Court has allowed selling of Asaram Bapu's conviction book titled Gunning the Godman, the True Story Behind Asaram Bapu's Conviction. The court has, however, imposed a condition that the book shall carry a disclaimer that it is based on the trial court's judgment, which is under challenge now. The High Court has also reiterated that Sections 164 and 167 of the Companies Act 2013 are not applicable retrospectively. That is to say, any company or director committing defaults under Section 164 subsection 1 of the Act before 7th May 2018 cannot invite application to the proviso to Section 167 subsection 1 clause A of the Act. The High Court has refused to entertain a PIL seeking directions to conduct immediate inspection and action against owners of hookah bars operating illegally without any statutory license in South Delhi after the court found several discrepancies in the plea. The High Court has directed the Delhi Police Commissioner to compile the data and frame guidelines relating to the honey trap cases. Now let's proceed and understand what transpired before the Bombay High Court this week. The Bombay High Court has quashed FIRs against Myanmar nationals who attended the Tablighi Jamaat congregation in Delhi. The court has stated that they were not engaged in any Tablighi work and were only exploring the Indian Muslim cultures. And therefore, this is not in violation of any of the provisions provided for under the Foreigners Act. Upon receiving petitions of multiple convicts, the court has ordered that the state prison authorities are to automatically extend the parole period until the state government notification under the Epidemic Diseases Act is in force. The Bombay High Court Judge Justice Gautam Patel, in a case related to financial distortion by a stock exchange company, has refused to accept submission of information in a sealed cover, stating that, I am making it absolutely clear that at least in my court there is no question and there will never be a question of anything being done in a sealed cover. Anything that I see, all parties before me are entitled to see. Now let's proceed and have a look at important updates coming from the High Court of Punjab and Haryana. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has asked the Chandigarh administration to carry out a survey to find out the exact population of monkeys in the city and also to sterilize them in case the number is found to be alarmingly high. The court has directed the DGP Haryana to sensitize police officials and also to implement the police guidelines laid down in the landmark case of DK Basu during the farmers' protest against the 3 agricultural ordinances which were passed by the parliament in this monsoon session. Now let's have a look at Calcutta High Court this week. The Calcutta High Court has ruled that bodies of COVID-19 patients shall be handed over to relatives of the deceased for completion of the last rituals, but the compliance to the safety precautions has to be made. Now let's have a look at Madras High Court. The Madras High Court has granted 30 days parole to Rajiv Gandhi assassination case convict A.G. Pirarivalan on ground of deteriorating health conditions. Now let's proceed with the miscellaneous segment of our news analysis. The government has received complaints from the Allahabad and Lucknow Bar Association regarding alleged nepotism in recommendation of 31 advocates to be appointed as judges of the High Court. A preliminary review has shown that only one candidate from the OBC category, while none from the ST/SC, has made it to the list. The students who have been tested positive for COVID-19 will not be allowed to appear for CLAT 2020 exam. This information is mentioned in the revised guidelines issued by the CLAT consortium. The 5-judge collegium headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde has recommended elevation of 10 judicial officers as judges of the Madras High Court. The Vodafone Group has stated that it had won an international arbitration case against the Indian government, ending in one of the most high-profile disputes in the country involving a Rs 20,000 crore tax claim. The NCB has summoned Sara Ali Khan, Shraddha Kapoor, Deepika Padukone and Rakul Preet in drugs probe matter. Patna SSP and Motihari ASP are to appear before the Lok Sabha Privilege Committee as Bihar BJP President, and MP Sanjay Jaiswal has moved a motion against both of these officials for allegedly issuing an arrest warrant to prevent him from attending the proceedings of the lower house. United Liberation Front of Assam, that is ULFA, and National Democratic Front of Bodoland, that is NDFB, to remain unlawful associations under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, ruled the Unlawful Activities Prevention Tribunal earlier this week. Now let's proceed with the last segment of our news analysis, which is the international news. The US federal court has ordered Trump administration to either defend or to postpone the ban which was imposed on TikTok. Protect the health workers to save patients, the WHO has reiterated on Patient Safety Day. A trans woman in France cannot be legally recognized as a child's mother despite being a biological parent, the nation's High Court has ruled. Islamabad High Court has issued arrest warrants against ex-Prime Minister of Pakistan Nawaz Sharif.
That's all we have for this week. Thank you very much for being with us. We hope this was a productive session for all of us. The link to these news updates is given in the description box for your kind consideration. Until we come up with our next video, keep sharing, keep supporting, stay tuned, take care and happy learning.